In this video, I'm going to share with you why just after 21 months with my fantastic Tesla Model Y Performance, I kind of felt like I needed to sell it. I'll also share with you what happened to the trading value of this car, replace it with something else. In the last 3 months, prices have significantly changed. I got a quote in December to trade it in. I got a quote a couple of weeks ago to trade it in. There was a big difference. Maybe you can help explain why. Let's get cracking. This was my third Tesla, and historically I do like fast cars. For the decade before driving Teslas, I had like fast BMWs. So the 75D I had, which was lovely, that had a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds, which I enjoyed. I then switched to a Tesla Model 3 long range and added the acceleration boost, which brought the 0 to 60 down to 3.7 seconds, which I thoroughly enjoyed, even quicker. But the kids were getting bigger, and my wife at the time had an e-Golf, which is a fantastic EV for a second EV or a short range EV. And the kids, they were taller than us, so we decided to get a bigger car, and a Tesla Model Y seemed like the obvious choice. And I didn't want to go for a slower one, so I bought the performance one. So why have I sold a car that I quite liked, I hear you say? Well, there are 6 reasons. And the first one was that as soon as I got the Model Y Performance, my wife sat in it and immediately loved the driving position, but does not like Teslas. So she sold her e-Golf and bought an Audi Q4 e-tron. So essentially we went from having no kind of family cars to having 2 family cars. So it kind of felt like we had too many family cars. Teslas are generally fairly effortless with performance anyway.
2, 1. Ah! No, no, no!
Yes.
No, God.
We know, yes.
You didn't tell me that, would he, man?
But when you've got a car that can do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, it's a bit like having God mode on a video game. It's great, but then you're bored of it. And I've found with cars before, having lower power so that you can enjoy them a lot more under the speed limit, combined with good handling, is generally a lot more fun for day-to-day driving. Next was ride quality. Now, Tesla Model Ys, when they first came out, were really stiff. Mine was a 2023 model, which had had some improvements. But when you add in the sport suspension and the 21-inch wheels, I mean, you just felt everything. And it's fine most of the time because I was happy with that trade-off because it did really look nice. However, passengers, and especially in the back, it was just quite a harsh ride. Next is the fact that I actually drive quite slowly. Apart from showing off to my friends or my teenage son's mates, I'm really quite a slow driver. So I certainly don't need a car with this much performance. And also, because the Y is higher off the ground than the 3, it doesn't handle anywhere near as well on day-to-day driving. Finally, I like to change my car a lot, and I will make a video soon about how I actually fund that so it doesn't really cost me any money to do so. So back in December, I initially thought, perhaps I'm gonna get rid of this Model Y. And I looked at Tesla's trade-in offer on this car, and it was 37,100, which surprised me. I thought it might be a little bit higher. And because I owed 43,000 on the car at the time, it was kind of nearly 6 grand underwater, and I thought I'm not paying that much to get out of a car plus the deposit to get into a new one. So what I did instead was I had quite a few Tesla credits. I added enhanced autopilot to the car, which is 3,400. And I needed to use those credits up because they only have a lifespan on them. They go out of date. And I thought it would just give me a little bit more interest in the car. It would make driving on motorways easier. And in addition to that, it added things like auto park. Spending 3,400 in Tesla credits to upgrade a car was a mistake, and you'll find out why in a moment, and I'll also explain why I didn't know it was a mistake at the time. So here's my first question, and I would be genuinely interested to see what you think. So bearing in mind, Tesla in December 2024 had quoted me a trade-in of 37,100 for my car. I'd added enhanced autopilot, which is essentially a software upgrade that they can switch on and off probably in seconds. Well, I do know it takes seconds. But there'd been 5 significant changes in the market, and I've made some notes. So the car had an extra 3,000 miles on the clock when I got my March trade-in figure. The press around the brand was significantly different, and the press around Elon Musk significantly different than it was in December than it is like now, the time I filmed this video. The car was also 3 months older. In addition to that, the release date for Juniper, the refresh Model Y, has actually been announced. So they come out in June 2025 in the UK. So my car was 100% now the outgoing model, the outgoing Tesla Model Y. Finally, you will probably know this already, there are potentially a lot more people selling Teslas at the moment than actually buying them. So if it was worth 37,100 in December 2024, stop this video and let me know what you think it's worth in the comments today with everything I've just told you. So taking all those negative factors into account, I hope you stop the video and put your figure in. If you didn't, just go back and do it, man. So taking all those negative factors into account, and we're now 3 months on, the car had gone from 37,100 in value, and it had gone up by £3,700 if I was to trade it into Tesla. Now, I think I know why, but let me know why you think my car was mysteriously worth more in March 2025 than it was in December 2024, bearing in mind all the things I've just talked about. So what car have I replaced my Tesla Model Y Performance with? Well, it needed to be something that had good technology. Now, I like technology, I'm in my 50s, and I want to be kind of understanding technology for as long as I can. When I watch my dad or my wife's mum around technology, I just feel so sorry for them. It's moved so quickly and they are just so far behind the curve. The other day, and I think you'll like this, I was walking down the road and my dishwasher, which was in my house, so I'm nowhere near my dishwasher, sprung a leak. So potentially it could have flooded the entire kitchen, causing thousands of pounds worth of damage. Instead of doing that, it turned itself off. It's got a feature called AquaStop. It sensed the leak, turned itself off, sent me a message to tell me it had turned itself off and protected any flooding going on, and told me to contact customer services. When I got home, it had leaked less than an egg cup of water on the floor. Bearing in mind, it was full of water when it had that leak. This is what I want. What a time to be alive. If you've seen any of my videos already, you will know that I'm a Tesla guy. You will know that when I test drove last year the new Highland Model 3, I was really impressed with this car. The build quality and the handling, and particularly the handling of the rear wheel drive versions. So there's 4 versions available, or there's 3 at the time. The standard range with rear wheel drive, the long range with 4-wheel drive, and then the performance also with 4-wheel drive. I test drove the most expensive one and the cheapest one, and I had more fun in the cheapest Tesla Model 3 than I did in the most expensive one, because of that below the speed limit, fun to drive and agility, and also the lighter steering because you haven't got an extra motor right at the front of the car. Since then, Tesla have introduced to the UK the rear wheel drive long range. So a car that will have at least 350 miles range. I think I might be able to get more out of it in the summer, and the handling of that standard range car. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me. And here's my new car, my Tesla Model 3, long range rear wheel drive. And I'm only 400 miles in with this car. And this is the most fun I'm having in any of the Teslas I've owned so far. And if you're thinking about buying a Tesla, I will put my referral code in the description and pinned comment of this video. When you click on that, that will take you to the Tesla website of your country, and you will have a discount on a Tesla when you're thinking of buying one. Sometimes it might only be 250, sometimes it's 500. It just changes, but there will be a benefit to using my code. And I also get a little bit of something back as well. I get Tesla credits that I can spend on things like hoodies, chargers, roof racks, and things like that. So how much did it cost me to swap my car? Well, it cost me £700 to get out of my lease on my Tesla Model Y Performance, because Tesla had bumped up the trading price by so much, which I thought was reasonable. I wasn't even halfway through a 4-year lease on that car. The deposit on the Tesla Model 3 was £4,500, which was a chunk of money, and I only wanted a 2-year lease. So, I mean, a little bit expensive, but I just wanted to do it. However, and this is where I wished I hadn't added EAP to my outgoing Model Y and spent 3,400 of my credits doing so. because in the UK, you can't use your Tesla credits towards a new car. So in the US, if you've got 5,000 Tesla credits because you've referred people to Tesla, you can get £5,000 off your car. Tesla had told me by text twice and on the phone once and in person in a Tesla showroom that you cannot do this in the UK. And because these expire, I was keen to use them and I'm getting all sorts of stuff. I'm getting little versions of the car I had. Cybertruck's not in the UK, but I managed to get one. And I just wish I hadn't done this because when I went to pay my £4,500 deposit on the PCH on my car, a little message popped up and said, would you like to use 4,000 Tesla credits towards the deposit of this car? I clicked yes, but I had mixed feelings, man. I think the rules must have just changed. So I wish I hadn't spent all those Tesla credits on t-shirts and hoodies, etc., because I could have used those towards a new car. So it cost £700 to get out of my Tesla Model Y, $500 to get into my new car, a rebate on my car insurance, and I had some stuff knocking around. I had a couple of roof racks and a bicycle rack that I'd bought with Tesla credits, and I was able to sell them on eBay and actually get that money back. So it actually probably cost me about £200 in total to swap from one car to the other car, which, yeah, a bargain. I was also 75% of the way through the tyres on my Model Y Performance, which would have been well over £1,000 to change those. But we're doing well so far on normal man maths, so I'm not going to add in advanced man maths in this scenario. And a guy from Tesla said before you would just order your car or look at a car and get a quote, whatever. Nothing would happen, but Tesla call you now. So they called me and I was chatting to the guy and he knew what I had and he knew what I was kind of interested in. He sorted me out a car that was available before April the 1st. So if you're a UK watcher of this channel, you will know that there's been a significant change in road tax since April the 1st. Now, in some countries like America, for example, you need a license to have a gun, which seems sensible. In the UK, you need a license to watch live TV. And I can see your non-British face aghast. Someone from the UK, corroborate this in the comments for me. You also need a license to drive on the road. It's what used to be called road fund. I don't even know what it's called now. It's called road tax. So you pay a tax to drive on the road. That has just changed. So it used to be free for EVs, and now it's $195 a year approximately. However, if you buy a new EV or a new car worth over £40,000, that road tax is £600 a year for the first 5 years. So an additional $3,000 in tax over the first 5 years of that car's life. So Tesla were able to get me in a car before that came into effect. And finally, the lease on my Model Y Performance was quite expensive. It was £796 a month. It's the most expensive Model Y you can buy. Plus I'd ticked red, the most expensive color, and gone for white seats, etc. The new Model 3 long range rear wheel drive is exactly half that. So that is under £400 a month, and that's with one colour option, and I've also had a tow bar fitted as well. So a spec one with a tow bar, which are probably another £2,500–3,000 worth of extras. If you go for the standard model range, the standard Tesla Model 3, that car is $299 a month. That is crazy, crazy value for a brand new car with that amount of technology in it, and they are exceptionally good vehicles. In conclusion, I've liked every Tesla I've driven, however this is the best one to drive, and I'm very used to being on the wrong side of a car transaction, i.e. buying retail and then selling it wholesale a couple of years later. I've only ever been on the upside twice, and coincidentally that was with two Teslas. My Model S, I was able to sell that at a really good price, and then because of what's happening around the world, Tesla are offering really good trade-in on my Model Y. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. YouTube thinks you will enjoy this video next. Until next time, see you soon.